So in this tutorial, guys, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create the knurling on our center punch. That is just in the center of this handle part. Next, we're going to create the knurling on the handle part, which is this part here. So to start with, just click the front view. So we just got onto this angle. We're going to use a helix. So a helix is a spiral, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to select that. And then as it says, select the face we want. So that is this face here, that rectangular in the center. And then as you can see, it has drawn this line. Now we could add multiple, but we only just need one. So we're going to change that to 1. And then once it's there, just click tick. So as you can see, there's this circular helix going all the way around. Next, we're actually going to create a sketch that is basically like a tooling part on a lathe. So what we're going to do is, now I want to see the end of this line. So I can't see it. I want to see the end of the line down here. So I'm going to rotate my screen holding in the right mouse button until I can rotate around. And there it is. There's the end. Now to see that easily, I'm just going to click that right view because should spin me around so I can see it. Now I want to get it on the angle of this. So instead of having it front on, I'm going to keep spinning and yep, front. So I can tell it's over there. That's where my starting point is. So you can see, there it is. I'm just going to make sure that's where I'm going to draw my sketch. So we're going to click sketch. It'll say select a sketch plane. Now, if you're zoomed in like me, you can zoom out and you can see there's that front sketch plane. Just select that, zoom back in, and we're going to just draw over here basically a diamond pattern. So using a line tool, select it, and then doesn't matter what size it is at the moment. We're going to change that all in a minute. So I'm just drawing, connecting a diamond, and there we go. So the next thing I'm going to do is change the size of this to 2 millimeters. So we can just type in 2 and hit enter, and that changes that side. Now I want to make all these other sides exactly the same. So we can use a constraint. Up here, you've got this equal constraint. So if we select that, we click the first line, which is the one we've got the dimension on, and then we go and select the rest. That has now made these other lines 2 millimeters. Okay, so the next thing, we actually need to create a construction line going down the center of this diamond. So select your line tool, construction, point to point. Doesn't matter about dimension, we don't need to worry about that. And we're just going to use this to actually connect to our piece. So imagine this is a lathe tip, and we're going to follow that helix around until we carve out the pattern that we want. So next is we're going to deselect all of this. So make sure none of these boxes are blue up the top. We need to actually line this part up with our edge here, or our helix. So there's our helix. We're going to line them up. So to do that, we're going to use this constraint called a pierce. So select that. First thing is your construction line, select this, and then we're going to select the actual helix line. That's that curved one. That's going to drag it across. Now, as you can see, my piece is now sitting inside or half in, half out, and that's perfect. We're going to accept that sketch by clicking the green tick. And now we're ready to do a sweep pattern. So a sweep is going to go all the way around. So now we need to sweep this path. So that's just going to follow that path. So to do that, by the way, to move your screen, I'm just holding in my right mouse click so I can orbit around. So up here, hover above and you see this button that says sweep, select that. Now we want to make sure it's new. Faces, we want to select, so zoom in and you want to select your diamond. Then the sweep path, click that, and then choose the actual piece. Now, what it's done is it's moved it across from new to add. I want to go back to new because what that's going to do, it's going to create another part. So that's the key here. You've got to have a separate part. So accept that. And as you can see, the sweep is now around our material. So next is a circular pattern. So we're going to duplicate this pattern going around. So up here, you've got multiple options. Now, you've got a linear pattern, you've got circular or curve. We want circular. So click the little arrow, click circular. And then what we're going to do is follow the steps. So it says entities of the pattern. So that is our helix. So that's our sweep. So select that. And the axis that we want is the circle down the bottom here. And as you can see, now we've got multiple helixes running around there. So what we're going to do is change this number, the instance number. How many of these do we want? Now we could go really high, something like, I don't know, 30. And as you can see, there's heaps in there. But the more of these we actually create, the harder it is for Onshape to render that image. So we're going to keep it maybe around, let's keep it about 20 for now. And if it takes forever, we might just drop that number down a little later. So what we've done, we're going to accept that. So as you can see, we've got this pattern. It's starting to form. Now this is adding material. When you're on the lathe, you're actually removing it. All right, next is the mirror. So we actually need to make the exact same thing, but going the other way. So to do that, we're going to select this button up here. It says mirror. So mirror the entities. So I'm just going to go down to my parts list here. I'm going to select number 2 and then all the way down to 21. So I've just held shift and I've clicked 21 and that highlights all of those. So we're going to select that mirror plane and I'm just going to spin my orbit around and I'm going to select the right view. So as you can see, it's now reversed the actual pattern. So now it's crossing over. Once we're there, we're just going to hit accept. And then we've got one more stage, and that is selecting all of these. So go down to your parts list, click number part 2 for me, and then scroll all the way down and hold shift, click the last part you see. That'll highlight a lot of them. Now what we're going to do is right click on one of these blue, doesn't matter where, but just making sure it's on the blue mark, and then boolean. So click that, that's actually going to combine all these parts into one. I'm going to click subtract, and then the target, I'm going to select the center punch. That was our original part. So once we're there, we can go ahead and accept that. This is where I said Onshape will take forever. This is an aesthetic feature, so I mean, it just looks pretty, but it's not actually going to help us in this program. As you can see, it's rendering. This might take upwards of 5 to 10 minutes to actually finish its process. And this is why we try not to do this kind of stuff, this aesthetic kind of design in Onshape. We just want it to be more functional. But this is just a proof of concept, what we are having done. As you can see, it's created this shape. Now, it's really spiky, and it's actually carved into our actual handle quite a lot. So we want to change that. So you can go back into Onshape at any time and you can fix it up. So we want to go back to that sketch because that's the thing that's affecting it. We need to zoom in and I'm just going to half that number. I'm going to double click on the number, change it to 1. That'll change the size of my sketch here. Then I'm going to accept that. And then what it'll do is it'll actually go ahead and render all of that again. So we'll just go here and wait. Last time it took about 5 minutes to render the entire thing. Again, you can just see here, if it's taking too long for you, just go ahead and click the refresh button and then just be patient with it. So as you can see, that took about a minute or two. So now you've got some pretty cool knurl on the actual part. It's a lot less spiky than it was before. Now, it's again what I said before is this is a really detailed texture, so highly recommend not doing this on all parts, but mainly just have a go. If you want to get rid of your planes so you can see it nice and clearly, you can just use the eyeball and hide them, and then you can see your center punch.